And we're back live. This is the House Appropriations Committee. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026. It's about 10:50 a.m. and we are doing our markup of the Budget Adjustment Act. We just finished with spreadsheets and now we are going to look at some language. And Brady from Joint Fiscal has put it in the kind of formatting that we will be using for the ultimate bill. So welcome, thanks Brady, and take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Grady Nixon, Joint Fiscal. So you'll notice that this document is only 15 pages long. It's far shorter than what the committee received from the Department of Finance and Management. And it begins at section 46. So in the JFO system, we generate the quote unquote numbers sections, those amendments to B sections of the bill in what we call JFO BUD, and those are automatically produced. And then this is the rest of the bill, the so-called language sections of the bill. The first section you'll see here is section 46, which is the amendments to FY26 one-times. And just before I get into anything, I would like to clarify for the committee, the only change from the governor recommend document to this document is that it's been formatted and edited by both myself and drafting operations to make sure that it comports to House style and things like that.
So the parts that we aren't getting, the first 45 are the typical B section where they change the numbers and that's all that sort of stuff that we see. So that's why Grady isn't giving us all those extra pages because there's no change. If we change them, then we'll see those changes.
And those changes you'll see in the spreadsheet that the committee just was reviewing. Those changes, whatever the committee decides, will be automatically produced and added to the bill.
Okay. So if you had the Adam version, you're actually starting on page 29 of 38, which is the B11. But the language should be all the same, just in our format. Okay, thank you, Grady.
And since the committee has reviewed or has gone through and discussed earlier this morning, the one-time sections and other sections like transfers and reserves, I'll skip over as much of that as possible. The only thing in this B1100 section that I would like to call the committee's attention to is on page 3 of the current formatted document. So the committee will notice that at the bottom of page 3, there is a sub P and an amendment to appropriations to the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. There is a sub 2 there now, $1 million of general fund for the Homes for All Phase 2 and secure housing coaching programs. This was just a technical movement. In the GovRec documents that appeared as a new B1100 HH1, which would have been a direct appropriation to the Land Access Opportunity Board. That correction of a reversion that you'll see in the description of that spreadsheet document. This is just moving that appropriation to the proper place in the bill and matching it with that act where the original appropriation occurred.
Oh, okay. Tom?
This is a rising above. I get what that is and clear on what that is. It's rising above. So the LAOB currently is a division or is housed in VHCB, which is why it's being appropriated through VHCB. If they were an independent government operation, they would be able to be funded directly.
Correct. Yeah. And so this is just matching that prior appropriation currently funneling through VHCB to the Land Access Opportunity Board.
Why is that exactly? Just, I mean, I know that we don't fund nonprofit organizations directly, that we would have to funnel it through a different organization or a government entity. So is that just because this is the LAOB is a subsidiary within the VHCB?
Correct. Just reflecting current organizational structure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brady.
Skipping ahead, page 6, there's section 47, D100 amendments to D100, the property transfer tax allocations. So this happens every year where the property transfer tax allocations just shift slightly. So you'll just see amendments to those allocations.
So on page 5, there's a whole lot of highlighted yellow stuff.
Correct. So those are finance and management's explanations of the one-time appropriations.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think like. Okay,
That helps us explain it.
yeah.
Section 48 on page 7. This is the fund transfer section, which I'll skip over for committee discussion earlier this morning. This language just matches what was in the spreadsheet that was reviewed earlier.
Which page is that?
That begins on page 7 and brings you all the way to page 10. Section 49, this is amendments to section B102 reversions. So you'll see the addition of several reversions there, 3 from the legislative branch and 1 reversion to the Tobacco Litigation Settlement Fund. These reversions have to appear in language because the spending authority is maintained with the legislative branch unless by an act of the General Assembly. And with the Tobacco Litigation Settlement Funds, similar language and restrictions applied to those funds per a prior act of the General Assembly.
So the bond redemption of 6 million, was that money that we got a bond premium or something for?
So this was the treasurer bond redemption. That language appears in the Act 27 as it currently exists.
Okay,
It was just added here so that lawyers can understand the context of where to put these new
okay, so that's
reversions.
nothing new.
Correct. That's part of that treasurer 20 million.
Right, and so the legislative office has turned in $17,065 in 3 areas. And that's the reversion.
We're very happy to do it.
Thank you so much. I know, it's $65. We won't ask you to explain that. What's the $3 one somewhere that Adam can find? He's gonna buy a cup of coffee.
Right.
Okay.
Also on page 11, section 50, this is an amendment to section D103, the reserve section. And you'll see the new language here is reserving the first 74 million of any fiscal year end balance, otherwise subject to statutory closeout provisions to be reserved for property tax relief. The Joint Fiscal Office is working on a more thorough explanation of the closeout process, more generally speaking, and an explanation of the intent of this section. So I would recommend deferring discussion on that to a later time. You will see on page 12 in this same section, though, that $13 million of education fund that was reserved pursuant to 2023 Acts and Results number 52 is being unreserved. When the current fiscal year yield was calculated, this $13 million, it was understood that it was unreserved and would be available in the education fund, but that actual technical unreserving had not occurred. So this is just making sure that those education funds align with the yield.
So this is an retroactively unreserving something that was supposed to have been unreserved. It's already happened. And now we're just gonna put it. So actually, that could be a spot that maybe we can agree on that 13 million. If not, I think the education fund property taxes would. So
We've already used it.
yeah, it was good news. So are we good? We were good with that 13 million? Being unreserved? It's not other money that we're doing, it's just unreserving. It's an action, not a spend. Okay, so there's one. Lynn,
Say that again, please. If it was put in as unreserved, then it would have been spent, but then the unreserved didn't actually occur, so it's still.
spend it without unreserving it.
Spend it.
We were not supposed to spend it without
We already
unreserving
spent
it.
it. It's
Yes, gone.
Okay. Spend it and
It
gone.
was part of the money that was put in last year to ameliorate the property tax
Right.
increase. The funding went into the fund.
Continuing on, also on page 12, section 51. So this is an additional position conversion that would occur in fiscal year 2026. This would be converting one executive director position at the Land Use Review Board to permanent exempt status.
That's right. So this was in the governor's, this is, Trevor, this one's yours, right? Land use.
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
So we had already done 9, and then we forgot, we didn't do the executive director. So we're making the executive
Yeah.
director,
So
kind of makes sense.
there was an intent to do it all along, it
Yeah.
just didn't get done.
Yeah.
Right. So are we good on that one for positions? Seem okay? All right, let's check that one off.
Section 52 at the bottom of page 12 and continuing on to page 13. So this is just an update to the estimated state match for global commitment. Again, this is something that happens annually. Those numbers are just updated to reflect current estimates.
Everybody good with that? Yeah, okay. Why don't we say we're okay on that one? Thank you.
Toward the bottom of page 13, you'll see section 53. So this would be adding a mechanism to the annual closeout in statute. This would function as a way to ensure that there are sufficient funds for the child care contribution by directing the Commissioner of Finance and Management to reserve an amount of general fund equal to the consensus estimate. And again, I would recommend that the committee discuss this in the context of FY26 closeout more generally. And I know that JFO is also working on a presentation to more thoroughly explain the mechanism occurring here.
Okay,
The only thing I would like to flag for the committee at this time is that in the governor recommend, this was proposed as 32 VSA 308D. A repealed 32 VSA 308D still exists in statute as just a repeal. So I would recommend that the committee add this or any language that the committee decides to add as 308F instead.
okay.
And
Makes no sense to do something to something that's repealed.
correct. And also the governor recommend language it did not include any statutory title. So if this language was added to statute, the committee would need to give this a name.
Can you give it a name for us?
I would be happy to work on a name for it.
Thank you. Naming the baby.
On the bottom of page 14 and then continuing on to page 15, this is the annual carry forward language. This is in every BAA. And then finally, the effective date section, because these are all changes to the current fiscal year. Generally speaking, they all take effect on passage. If there are other sections that are added to the bill that must be affected retroactively, the effective dates will change.
So the top of page 15 is standard language that we do every year, right?
Correct.
And then the effective date is typically what we do. Carry forward reminds me, so I said this to some of you, I heard back from Adam, Brattleboro Retreat, all paid alternative payment is now down to 5.3 million from 8 something or other, 8, what did James say? 8038 or 8?
Yeah, it was just over 8.
Just over 8 million. So we got a couple $1 million there. I asked Adam for something in writing and he said he'll send a revised carry forward reversion sheet to capture this. So now that we have this one, this is draft 1, we'll get a new one. And I think we'll get it after the e-board meeting tomorrow. So I see Wayne and then Dave.
Just back on the childcare special fund, is that we heard that the tax money from that childcare tax goes directly into general fund. Does this fund intersect with that money? Anyway,
So this would be a technical reserve process. It's not actually touching on the child care contribution special fund itself. This would just be ensuring that whatever money is meant to go to that fund at the end of the year is reserved prior to closeout.
because of the lag?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, there is lag from the tax department, but yeah. Yeah, Dave?
Is the Brattleboro retreat in the one-time section?
No,
And is it, help me understand then, just to be clear, is this some type of reconciling they do?
yes,
And they true it up or down and adjust it and then make a payment to,
usually it's been You have to give them more.
Thank you.
So this was as I recall, was a 5-year program to do this alternative payment method. And Stephanie Witter came in last year and explained it, and I couldn't repeat what she said. But that is what, I'm trying to find it.
Kind of a
Oh, you know what,
ongoing,
it is in one time, never mind. Miscellaneous one time.
yeah, that's what I,
And between general fund and Fed funds, it's 8,082,365. There was only 160,000 of Fed funds, so most of it is general fund.
yes.
And so Adam said that they did another negotiation or talk about the reconciliation. I don't have any of the details of it. But I had heard they were meeting about it, so I asked, that's why I
It
asked.
seems like part of an ongoing effort for many, many years to help the Brattleboro retreat stay viable. Is that fair to,
I don't.
I guess I wouldn't offer that on the floor if asked, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's that or it's just I can't imagine that we're paying more money than we're supposed to be paying.
No, no, I
I think it
wouldn't.
may be the way we pay it or the timing of how we pay
It
it.
wasn't something about, well, yeah, I think it's a mechanism for smoothing out the payments because their needs may go up and down,
Yeah.
and because of the timing and reimbursements and a variety of other things, the income doesn't keep up with it. And so I think that's what they looked at as a 5-year period, trying to guess future utilization and stuff like that and say, okay, we'll give you 40 every year instead of 40, and then 60, and then 80, and then 20, and then whatever.
Yeah, I just have to.
I thought.
I remember vividly when Governor Douglas was elected, the first week of his taking office, I was told to go to the Brattleboro retreat and help fix their reimbursement. You know, and it seems like there was a team of us working on it. It's been a continuous process. So I digress, but. So,
Well, I think you're right, Dave. I mean, I know.
okay, yeah.
And as I recall, it was kind of akin to from the veterans home.
Yes,
We reconcile that every year as well. As a means of, I think this was a means of trying to.
It's a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
so you just to go back then, so that $8 million is going up or down?
Down.
Down.
It's gonna be 5.3,
5.3.
and Adam will get us something about that after tomorrow.
Okay, so that is true.
So that's all the language we have at the moment.
As of now, yes, and I believe the committee's heard about some other language elements that may be added to the bill.
Yes, if we do some of these other things that are in progress, there'll be definitely some language and some spreadsheet things. Thank you, Grady. We'll hear about closeout next week.
Yeah, or at some point this week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe on Tuesday or so, maybe it's after Wednesday. Yeah, based on tomorrow, yeah. Well, and yeah, tomorrow in the afternoon, we've got a meeting, joint hearing with Ways and Means with Tom Vet after the board. But that's not gonna take all afternoon either, so we may want to come back here after that and have at least a little check-in. Lynn.
Yeah, because when I talked to David Shear, there is, if you want to put it into the BAA, there is these federal government assessments.
Right.
That they pay the school districts for employees funded with federal
Yes,
grants.
that's the 3 million.
That's the 3 million. It's, and they gave us language, but he said that probably Ledge Council would want to refine this, probably pretty.
Yeah, Chris has a copy of it.
Yeah.
Did we talk for that? I can't remember where I talked. Did we talk about that in this committee at all? Oh, we have it coming in.
We'll have them coming in this afternoon,
That's right.
1:30, 1:15.
We'll have Chris tell us all about it today. We'll let the treasurer do it. So yeah, so that's a thing that'll be coming in and it has to do with FY 26. So the BAA is the appropriate place to put it because we know about it now. Yeah. Yeah, so there'll be little things like that that we're gonna hear about. So Emily or James or anybody else, do we have other things that we want to go over at the moment? Are we kind of done what we could do? Should we, do you have any thoughts? I mean, we can go back and look at this. Lynn wasn't around for some of the spreadsheet stuff. We're not going to review everything, but I'm wondering if there's any of your things that we
There's a
want.
couple of things on the human services side, but
We're gonna hear from Teresa this afternoon. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else of yours.
just the treasurer's their unclaimed property, which is,
Yeah. We thought that was okay.
yeah, well, there's a lot more going on with unclaimed property. It's not,
Yes.
it's not in here, but we can deal with that later.
Right. And,
The health and public health, I want to go over.
right, so we'll hear from Teresa on all of those.
Basically just.
And if you're okay with unclaimed property, we can check that off. It's on the very back page, page 8, at the bottom. It's in the transfers and reversions. You all right with that one, Lynn?
Yeah,
Okay, so if everybody's okay, we'll check that one off. And we will get a sheet about reversions. We have our interim carry forward and reversion sheet. And so I don't think there's anything else at this point, unless do we have a spreadsheet there from the. You're so busy, I'm asking you, from the public hearing. Okay, so we'll share it with me and then we'll get that out to everybody so you can see the questions. Of all the asks that we heard from yesterday, so we'll compare our minutes and make sure we have that right before we send that back. So I think that's everything for right now. We have treasurer's office coming in at 1:15. Agenda. It's open. And then at 2, we're gonna have our security briefing, so we go into executive session and there's stuff I have to say, we'll go on live and go off live. And then after that, we'll have a break and then we'll have Teresa come in. And I know Tom has to be on the floor for the S60 representative. So that's what we have for today. So this can be a chance for those of you that have things open to do a little work on that. And I think we can go off live. Thank you.